Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. The last two videos did way better than I expected, so that means I'm back for round 3. And this time we're gonna go big. At least we're trying to. I wanted to build something useful with a 3D printer, and in my mind was why I shouldn't build a pair of pliers. And yeah, let's go to try to build a pair of pliers with PLA. Why PLA, you might ask? Yeah, because when it comes to questionable life choices, I'm your man. Let's be real. It was way harder than expected. And yeah, I thought it was a quick and dirty thing to do, but no, it wasn't. The amount of designs and the amount of prints which I went through, it was a nightmare. But I love challenges and I refuse to give up. So my goal was to make a pair of usable pliers which you can actually use and which are not crumbling in your hand. So I tried a bunch of different tricks and I printed them, I used them, I tested them. In the end of the video I will compare them. And yeah, don't expect something on NASA level or something else. Just expect me in my natural habitat. So let's go to designing the part. So full of hope and maybe a little bit too much confidence, I booted up my program and got to work. I kinda know how to use a CAD program, but actually I'm not that good of a designer like you see here. Yeah, I'm more the guy who builds something and puts paint over it until it looks great. Yeah, like expected, my first design was pure garbage. So I started the design completely from scratch again. And as I expected, the second design was even worse than the first one. Oh my god. But hey, yeah. Progress needs to happen, so I printed the second design anyway. And of course, like the true professional YouTuber, which I am, I completely forgot to film everything and I even threw the parts away. So yeah. Let's not talk about the first version of my design. After I tested the first one, which I didn't film, I knew I needed to do something about the stability of the thing to make it a real usable pair of pliers. And one idea was to make a custom infill pattern. The idea behind it was that the slicer is going to treat the infill as an outside area of the part, and therefore it's going to print with much more layers around these areas, and I thought this is gonna make the part more stable, and for sure it does, but I think it isn't really worth it since we already have enough infill patterns already available. The second idea, which I thought it was my master weapon, it was like inserting metal threaded rods into the 3D print to strengthen the whole print. And the idea was to make the tolerances that tight that the thread is actually threading into the 3D printed part, and therefore the stability is going to be huge.
What?
After countless hours of tinkering and designing, I was finally able to start printing the parts. At this point, my hope levels were off the charts, and I pictured myself as a 3D printing legend. But soon enough, I got reality checked by my 3D printer. Oh, come on. Fast forward to assembly time. But before I can start my creation like the mighty tool master I aspired to be, I had to hit up the hardware store for some aces which I can put in my sleeve. And with that secured, it was time to race back home and to get started. The assembly for the not reinforced pliers is quite straightforward. Just attach the handle and secure both sides with the screw. and you're done. The assembly for my almighty creation with the metal inserts turned out to be quite challenging and took me quite a long time. After the painful experiences of designing this part and failing over and over again while printing, it was quite hard to not lose faith and to stay motivated. But now it's time to enjoy my creation before I destroy it while testing. Short disclaimer, please support my huge channel and like and subscribe and check out my stuff on printables. So, now it's finally time for testing. Testing, the most crucial part in designing and developing a new project. Why it's the most crucial part, you may ask? While testing, you see if your thoughts and your design choices were right or wrong. For the testing phase, I made 3 different test samples. The green one is made out of M3 metal rod. The second one is a M4 metal rod, and the third one, the black one, is the M5 metal rod. The green marked pliers are without any reinforcement. The red one are with my own designed reinforcement, and the black marked pliers are these pliers reinforced with metal. To my surprise, the green one survived the first level, the M3 rod, and the second one survived the first level too. The metal inserted pliers survived the first level with ease. So level 2 and 4. The green mark pliers really managed to do it. I'm really surprised about that, although you can see the real huge flex in the part. My reinforced pliers, the red one, they managed to bend the M4 rod too. While bending the M4 rod on level 2 with the black pliers, the catastrophic failure happened. The plier broke completely. All my time, all my thoughts, everything was completely useless and completely garbage.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
I just moved on with destroying the rest of the pliers. The green pliers, without any reinforcement, they broke on the part with the most force on it, so it wasn't really a surprise. The red pliers with my custom infill, they did what I didn't want it to do. They crumbled in my hand, and yeah, this is how it looked. And have a look at the final result! As a conclusion, I would say the custom infill pattern wasn't really worth it, and the metal rods didn't work at all at my project. But in one try, I tried to break the handle of one pair, and I wasn't able to break it. And this really surprised me because I couldn't bend the metal rod when it wasn't inside of the 3D print. So the 3D print was stabilizing the metal rod, and the metal rod was stabilizing the 3D print. So it wasn't really useful in this project, but I definitely learned something. With my new gained experience, I would say it's not very easy to make a pair of pliers out of PLA. But yeah, now we have a pair of pliers. Maybe someone will print it and give it to their child, so the project wasn't completely useless. And in general, I would say it's always a good idea to never give up. Because in the end, we're often learning more from a huge failure than from success. And with this message and this learning, I think my project is over. I hope you enjoyed my YouTube video, enjoyed my failures, and if you liked it, consider subscribing. And if you have any suggestions or anything which I can print in the future, let me know in the comments.